Sure, from my Abba's Love. And I wanted to share with you another blog that I did recently. It's called Be Still and Know That I Am God. Um, I haven't done a blog in a long time. Father has had me in a strange place. Actually, not so strange, more so having me sit, really be still, and learn at His feet. Sometimes we can get to a place where we think that we're progressing and we see the wonderful work that he's doing in our lives, and it it brings a type of excitement, but it can also bring a type of can make us stagnant, because we think that we see him so closely and we think that we have a grasp of him, and so we may not seek as hard. But Father wanted to really take me by myself and give me some time to reflect and to see him and to sit at his feet and learn again. And it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing, I can say. I was a little I was a little nervous because I know that he gave me this block to do, and I didn't want to be slack, but at the same time I wanted to be still like I heard him telling me to do. So I was just praying, Father, if you want me to be still, I have no problem. But at the same time, please don't let me be slack concerning the blog and everything that you've given me. So that's where I've been, and that's a short snippet of what's been happening. But he gave me this blog, this study. It's called Be Still and Know, and I want to share it. The first verse is Psalms 46:10, and it says, Be still and know that I am God. So this whole blog, I wanted to really break down this verse. I'm noticing in the teaching that Father's given me is not so much in like how much I can read, but the quality of what I'm reading, and really digging deeper into every verse, looking up almost every word to see the significance and what the writer really meant. So that's what I did in this blog. I tried to break down the words as best as I could. The first word that I looked up was be still. So you think, be still. What does it mean to be still, though? Because we don't do works by faith. We don't do any works to gain a salvation. But at the same time, there's something that you want us to do, because Paul says, show me, I don't want to quote this wrong, show me your faith by your works. No, you say you have works, and another man says he has faith. But I say, I'll show you my faith by my works. So there is something that he calls us to walk in order to establish our faith or to make our faith known. But at the same time, he wants us to be still. So how do we balance? What does that look like? So first, to be still, when I looked up when I looked up the Hebrew of be still, still means to cease, to slacken, or to be weak, or to weaken, or to let alone. So, in that, it seems like he's asking us, if there's a situation that he's bringing us to, there's not so much an effort that we need to put forth that will allow him to accomplish the task, but more so, it's a stillness and leaving it alone and allowing him to properly guide us through the situation. So, what does that look like? We pray, we read. He says that if we seek him first, I'm sorry, again, I hate to misquote verses. It says, seek me first in all my righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. So if there's a situation that he's putting before us in our lives and we don't know what to do, what do we need to do first? And I believe this is what this stillness is talking about. It means to slacken, to fall back, to be weak, to seek him, by reading, by prayer, by surrendering, and allowing him to guide us. A lot of times we get apprehensive or we get nervous because we don't see the end from the beginning. But he doesn't want us to. He doesn't need us to in order for him to accomplish his task. So there's a stillness that we need to have, and tie that closely into trusting him, trusting that he's more than capable of accomplishing what he has set before us. And he wants to help us in everything. I also talk about that in the blog too, because the verse says, be still and know that I am Elohim. Well, I started reading again from Genesis because I wanted to properly understand, what does Elohim look like? How does an Elohim act in regards to his people? And the covenant that he has with his people, what is he asking the people to do, and what is he doing? So I started again from Genesis to see how Elohim acts with his people in regards to his people. And I think that's very important, and also understanding the verse, because if he's asking us to be still, what did it look like from the beginning? What did it look like when he established it in his people? And if you see with our forefathers, if you see with Moshe or Moses and the Israelites, they didn't really have to do anything. How did they get fed? The manna rained from heaven. How did they get water? Father gave it to them out of a rock. They didn't have to do anything. They needed to obey. They needed to obey and do what he has called them to do, which again, it goes back to prayer, surrender, and obey everything that he has commanded us. But as far as these situations in our lives, we can't do anything. We cannot do. And I think that's a lot of times why we get discouraged in situations, because we look at us and our feeble, weak ability, and we're like, how are we going to accomplish this task? It looks impossible, but it's supposed to. He wanted it to look impossible so that we could be still. We could be still and lean on the one that is able to accomplish his purpose. Let's go to the next. Let me see here. What does it mean to know? To know, hold on, my son is coming. 1 second. To know, meaning to be aware, assuredly, to acknowledge, for a certainty, to have understanding. So we have to know with certainty that he is our God and he is for us in everything, every situation, every fall, every distraction, every single thing is for our good, as long as we walk according to his purpose. Again, in understanding to know him, that's why I started again from Genesis, because I really wanted to see, how does Elohim act with his people? How is he to his people? And I wanted his word to wash my mind of every preconceived notion and idea that I had, and really start from the beginning and knowing and understanding how Elohim is with his people. I encourage you all, come, you can come. I encourage you all to do the same, to really immerse yourself in the word and allow it to cast down any thoughts, any understandings that you already had, and allow it to be your guide in what he wants to establish in your life, and how does he want to perform in your life. And it starts with reading. It starts with reading and understanding his character and knowing who he is and how we're supposed to be. I think that's it. I don't want to make this video too long. Again, I would love for you to read the blog. The blog has lots more information. Father gave me so many verses, and this study was a blessing. It really helped me it gives so much peace. Father says that he wants to give peace that surpasses all understanding. Excuse me. Go ahead. Go to daddy. Father says he wants to give peace that surpasses all understanding. How does that happen? It happens by us not having to rely on ourselves, not having to rely on our own abilities to do anything, but understanding that it's him who leads, who guides, and wants to guide us so closely. I broke down the word Abba. Of course, that's what my blog is about. That's the name of the blog. But why? Abba in Aramaic would be closely translated as daddy. So Father wanted to be so closely intimate with us, like a daddy to his small child. I've heard so many times that we have to do, and then Father will do. You put your effort, then he meets your effort. It has nothing to do with that, and that's what I really want to break down in this blog, to what it really means to be still and know. We need to have a certain type of trust. But how do we trust? We need to go back to the scriptures and see. Excuse me. We need to see how he wants us to trust in him, how he walks with the people that he made the covenant with. We are supposed to be the seed of Abraham. What is the covenant that he made with him? What is the covenant? The covenant says that if we are born of Abraham, we have the faith of Abraham, then he will bless us and he will move according to his purpose. And if you look at Abraham didn't have to do, all he had to do was obey and follow his word, and he would lead him so closely, like a father leads his small child. like a like a daddy is to his child. I picture my son. He's almost one, and his little footsteps, like my husband holding on to his hand. Every step he's leading him. Every step. He doesn't have to worry. Is he gonna fall? Is he gonna hurt himself? Because he knows that his father, his daddy, is holding on to him, and it doesn't have to change once we get older. He still wants to be our daddy. Even more so now we need him. He knows we don't have all the information and knowledge to lead ourselves. That's why he says, lean not on your own understanding. So we're not leaning on his understanding. We're not leaning on our own understanding. Whose understanding are we leaning to? It's unto his, right? But we have to just be still and rest, not only in his promises, rest in his promises. That's so important, but also rest in the assuredness that he is for us. In every situation, he's orchestrating for us, and we just have to follow. So I can ramble on and on and on, but I think that's it. So the blog is Be Still and Know. If you could look at it, comment, give me feedback, interact. Yeah, I'm just so excited about this work that Father is doing. I just see me as this imperfect person, and he's wanting to just give me so much understanding, and more importantly, this walk. Even though I see so many blessings in this walk, the ultimate goal is to be with him forever. And that's what he's bringing us to. He's bringing us to a place where we could be with him forever. We don't have to worry about this world and these trials and the distresses and the sadness that goes on all around us. Um, he's perfecting something in us so that we may be fit to live in his kingdom with him forever. And I hope you guys are all blessed. Subscribe to the blog if it's a blessing to you, and just walk with me. Walk with me as I seek him and his love. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, guys. Shalom.